everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So we finally have something exciting to talk about today, something to look forward to. This could be the end of all so-called assault weapons bans across the country. So let's talk about what's going on here. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So we have a very exciting case that is currently pending review before the Supreme Court. Now, if you weren't aware, the Supreme Court has a schedule a lot like your school schedule. They pretty much get every federal holiday off, and then they actually get a summer break. They're on recess in July, August, and September, and then the Supreme Court comes back the first week of October. So in less than a week, the Supreme Court's going to be back at it, hearing cases and deciding what they're going to take up. One of those cases that I think they're going to take up, and I'm very hopeful they're going to take up, is Snope v. Brown. Now, I think this is the one that's going to break it all wide open, and that's why I'm so excited about this. I think if the Supreme Court takes it, and I believe they will, this will end all of the bans across the country. Nationwide, California to New York, you're not going to see any of these bans anymore. And the reason I think the Supreme Court is going to take this is because of how absolutely egregious the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals opinion was in this case. The Fourth Circuit basically took the position in upholding Maryland's ban that these are not even protected by the Constitution. They are not even implicated in the text of the Second Amendment because they're too much like military weapons. They call them military style, or say that they're too similar. And they also say that they're especially dangerous and they're not good for self-defense. So let me just read you this real quick. This is directly from the Fourth Circuit's decision in this case, where it says, with the respectful consideration and benefit of Bruin, we now uphold the judgment below. The so-called quote-unquote assault weapons at issue fall outside the ambit of protection offered by the Second Amendment because, in essence, they are military-style weapons designed for suitable combat operations that are ill-suited and disproportionate to the need for self-defense. Moreover, the Maryland law fits comfortably within our nation's tradition of firearms regulation. It is but another example of a state regulating excessively dangerous weapons once their incompatibility with a lawful and safe society becomes apparent, while nonetheless preserving avenues for armed self-defense. Now, mind you, muskets were the military weapon of the day. So this whole argument about military style or what they use is not protected is absolutely outrageous. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And whether or not it's suitable for self-defense, that doesn't make any sense either, because it's not just about that. They're pigeonholing it to one particular thing. And if it's not suitable for that one particular thing, then it's not protected by the Constitution. And that's absolutely not the case and not how this stuff works. So let's talk about the calendar now and when we can figure things out. Now, what's the earliest that we could find out if the Supreme Court's actually going to take this case or not? Well, I mean, taking a look at the calendar right here, the red days are argument days. They start on Monday, October 7th, and then they have 3 argument days. Then you'll see that green box on October 11th. That's a Friday. That's going to be their conference day where they go over the different cases that have been, put before them and determine which ones they're going to accept on that day, which ones they're going to reject, which ones they're going to deny, which ones they're going to put off to the next conference. That's going to happen on that day. So you can see here on the 11th that's the first day for conference of the new session. Now, in reviewing this case, the Supreme Court's going to have to look at the Fourth Circuit's decision, and I would love to see the look on Justice Thomas's face when he reads that part that we read earlier, because it's just so out there. It's such a word salad that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And anybody who knows the definition of what an arm was back when the Second Amendment was ratified in 1791 would know that, yes, they are protected, even if they're not good for self-defense. A definition for an arm was anything that a person could carry in their hands to strike at another in wrath or use for their own defense, or anything that could be worn on their person or on their body in their own defense was considered an arm. It didn't have any of these weird things, well, it has to be good for this, or it has to be good for that, or it has to be one of these things that falls into this category. No. If it's something that you could hold in your hand for your own defense or offense, then it was an arm. And the Constitution said that arms are protected. I mean, it's very simple. You know, you and I, we could figure it out, but these people who have an agenda, these people who have been educated on how to get around things, they'll come up with whatever necessary in order to side with the state. And that's what happened right there. So again, I think the Supreme Court's going to take this. I think this is the case that's going to break everything wide open, and I'm really excited for Snope v. Brown up at the Supreme Court, and we'll see if they grant cert in this case. I am hoping, I got my fingers crossed, we'll see. I'm just not sure exactly when. Again, they could decide to push this off for a long time. I mean, think about the other cases from Illinois that just went up this last summer. They pushed those off for 6 weeks, conference after conference after conference, before they ended up kicking them back down, except those were, cases that were interlocutory and not completely finished. So again, I think we have a better chance here. I wanted to tell you guys about that, and I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.